When I reevaluated at the end of the year or the beginning of 2025, I'm like, I need advertising. Like I said, we'd gotten pretty flat. It was frustrating. It was, I'm not going to say depressing, but discouraging. I've been there 23 years, or at that point 23, and I said, all right, we should be having more referrals. We should be in a better place than where we are. What's going on? Dr. Kyle told us about you guys. The shift happened when we started focusing on our referrals. Yeah, so the last 2 months, we've had our highest months of referrals, our highest in a long time in collections. Last month we hit over 70,000. This month we 68 and change. Hello, my name is Dr. Tracy Rush. I live in Berlin, Maryland, 7 miles from the beach. My husband and I practice Healing Hands Chiropractic and Functional Medicine in Berlin, Maryland. And we've been there 23 years in February 24. And yeah, we love practicing. We have a holistic practice, family, a lot of Medicare in our area. And we have expanded into our functional medicine, but have been pretty flat for a while.
There we go. Thanks for that introduction. Could you walk me through maybe your situation before we even met and all that? Just give me a little bit of your story for the few months before we started talking.
So right before we met, I was doing podcasts and spending a lot of money on podcasts, and our patients loved it and they would send it out, but it didn't produce any new patients. It kept people there. It just didn't produce anything. And so when I reevaluated at the end of the year or the beginning of 2025, I'm like, I need advertising. Like I said, we'd gotten pretty flat. Not that we were dipping, we were just flat. And I wanted something new. So got introduced to Chiro Jump through a mutual client, doctor that I know.
Yeah. What was with the fact that everything kind of had plateaued? How did you feel about the practice? Were you still encouraged to keep taking steps forward? What did that mean for you that you hadn't seen growth in some time?
It was frustrating. It was, I'm not going to say depressing, but discouraging. I've been there 23 years, or at that point 23, and I said, all right, we should be having more referrals. We should be in a better place than where we are. What's going on? And a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it was my mindset. 2024 was a very hard year in many aspects. And so I wanted something new. We had tried Facebook marketing, advertising before, and that was a disaster. And I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah. Okay. That paints a really clear picture. What kind of impact did that have on the team members that you had and them kind of maybe seeing the discouragement or maybe just the lack of growth? Did that impact your team or was that just more internal for you?
It did. We've had long-term staff 15 years, 3 years, and then a new hire. So the new hire is all gung-ho, but the one that had been 15 years had seen it all. And she said, I don't want to do what we did with the previous Facebook marketing. And I'm like, I don't either, because that was hell. It was just a disaster. They were willing for anything because they know where I put my focus, then that's the rudder of the ship. That's where it's going.
Okay, so they were open to trying whatever option. It was just figuring out what is the way to actually push growth now. So you mentioned a little bit about this, but can you walk through how you found us and what your initial thoughts were when we started talking and just getting to know each other in the first couple of chats we had?
So first, Dr. Kyle told us about you guys. We're with a management group and he started talking about Chiro Jump and what you guys are doing for him and what his goals were for selling his practice and how you were helping him modify things, the marketing. It was bringing new patients in. I'm like, all right, let's have that conversation. Let's see what it's all about. Initial impressions were, okay, how long have you been doing this? And very quizzical. I don't dive into things. That is not me. I definitely research it, make sure it's going to work for me because I don't want to waste your time or our time and money.
Yeah. What was the thing that gave you some confidence? And okay, let me try this out. Let me pursue this.
I think because it was different than what I've been experienced before. Again, I was looking for something different. The experience, the testimonies, the backing you had brought me to the point of, okay, let's take the dive. Let's do this. We have nothing to lose. We only have to gain. So let's go ahead and do this.
Okay. So we overcame some of those doubts and those fears. How did that work out and play out over us working together? Maybe you can walk through a little bit on where are we at now and then start diving into kind of the path to today.
So it was over the holidays. So we had some breakups and disjointedness through that whole holiday time. So it wasn't smooth. It definitely was not smooth. And I don't know if it was lack of communication or just because it was during that time we miscommunicated, however it worked out. But once we got over that January, February and realized, okay, Maryland is a funny state on how you can advertise. There are very strict rules and you got to follow these guidelines. And you guys conformed. You modified what we were looking for. You modified your program for us. And that's what we loved was the modification because the way you had it wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work for our
Right.
practice, wasn't going to work for our state.
Yeah. Okay. So like that custom approach that we have,
Yes.
like working with all the things that you were bringing to us. It's like, hey, these are concerns. These are like things that need to shift up, and us being able to make those changes for you and customize that for your practice. As we continued with the ads, what were some of the results we saw there? And then we'd love to continue to how that transition to what we are doing now and everything else.
So what happened with the ads, they did produce people, but it was a lot of time and effort, and I didn't have that flexibility. I had very small windows, and so I wanted more quality than quantity. So when I got that across, then we changed our initial fee. So we weren't getting every Tom, Dick, and Harry. We were getting the people who were going to be committed. So finally, when we got those people, they were committed. So they've been great patients still under care, which is awesome. But then for us realizing, or me realizing, it's a lot of work because I'm always convincing them it's not a referral. I'm convincing them to be a patient, that this is the right place for them to be. So we shifted gears and started looking at reactivations. We've been there 23 years. We really hadn't done a formal reactivation program, and you guys created that for us. Quarterly, doing it weekly per that quarter, because we have such 23 years. We have a big network of patients over the years.
So we started off with the referrals and then leaning into reactivations and how do we get people that we've lost over the many years back in to get back along to either the treatment plans or wellness care, wherever they're at. How was that experience? Walk me through maybe some of the numbers and the results that we were able to achieve with that new system.
I know we did it quarterly with different campaigns, and those campaigns were producing in the beginning like 8 new reactivations, and then they would get on treatment plans, or like you said, continue maintenance, get them on some maintenance, or even traveling to my husband's practice. So the numbers, I would say, were at 80% conversion on that. So we were very pleased with that.
Yeah. Okay. And then how has the practice maybe shifted, like end result of us working together? I know we had some really good milestones we hit over the last couple months, which is awesome. But can you walk me through a little bit on that and like some of the numbers that we had, like revenue wise for the practice and that kind of deal?
So then the shift happened when we started focusing on our referrals. And we talk referrals all the time. We're really bad at tracking them. So a patient would give us a name. I would try and remember, tell the staff, but we never followed up. We would always drop the ball when it came to that. So now having that spreadsheet, that system in place, the questions we ask, the follow-up, and changing my patient orientation class and the way I ask for a referral from that, and getting as much information as we can about that person has bumped up our referrals tremendously because we have one staff member that's totally focused on that. And she has her spreadsheet and she continues to ask the patients. We're not pushy. And I always felt like we were being pushy if I kept asking, oh, did you give that gift certificate to your friend? And now it's that conversation that we really do want to help them. And we want to see that person get well. And that patient wants to see that person get well. So they're more inclined to keep having that conversation with them if they haven't made that appointment yet.
So it's been, I know, like taking a step back, then it's been like this process we've helped build out on how we track referrals, how we do the follow up. So it doesn't feel like it's like we're pushy or to come off really strong there, but almost like how we present it in a way where patients are like, wait, I really need to get my friend or family member in the door because they're struggling with this thing they need help with.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Exactly. Like yeah. So the last 2 months, we've had our highest months of referrals. Most of our patients were coming from Google before that. They were searching us. Oh, and that's the other thing, the Google campaign. Oh my God, that was so great. Yes, we have like 240 reviews now, and the promotions that we did with the Google campaign. That was great.
How did that go?
Oh, yeah. People were so thrilled to do it. And I say, like us on Facebook, like our YouTube channel, give a Google review, but it was never in the forefront of their minds. And now it is because we asked them and we're sending out those texts, give us a Google review and 5-star review. And then they're giving comments. And then we're giving giveaways for those that haven't done a Google review. And now when people do Google reviews, we've always been at the top, but they'll say, I came in because you have so many good reviews. where we're the highest in our area with reviews, with over
Yeah.
240 plus. Yeah.
Let's go. That's so awesome. And it's like these patients already have had such amazing experiences with you. They just don't even know where to go, or they don't know that they should be giving referrals. It's like people just, it might sound crazy to us because we're in it, but like for them, it's like they're just living life. And then they don't even know, oh, Google reviews are important. Okay, cool. But they want to. They want to support you in whatever way they can. And so it's so cool to just give them opportunities to do that.
Yes. Yeah. So the last 2 months were our highest in a long time in collections. Last month we hit over 70,000. This month we 68 and change. We're like, we're right there. One more. We're right there.
Yeah.
But patient visits are up. Our referrals are the last 2 months are
Yeah.
now 80% of our new patients is referrals, where it was like, I'm going to say 80% previously were from Google.
Wow.
Yep.
That's huge. Dang. So you just flipped like the entire script. And it's not like Google review patients have decreased from it. It's like, it's the reviews are increasing. Like or referral patients are increasing. That's crazy. That's so awesome. And so these are like more of your best people coming into the doors, which are like ready to go. They have good expectations. They trust you, at least somewhat, because they've been referred by somebody that they know. That's so awesome. What have been some of the things that you've appreciated most about working with us or the way that we operate? Is there anything you could share on just like your experience there? Some of the benefits are just like the way we do things over the last year.
Communication. Weekly. Other companies we've been with, they would say they would communicate and keep us on board. Nope. And the action steps. I love the action steps. So you say, okay, this is what we're going to work on this week. And we do it. And including the staff because they felt a part of it. We're all working together as a team. It's not just you working with me. It's you're working with my staff, talking to them on what to say and how to track. And here's the next promotion. And this is what our goals are. So even though I do staff meetings and we talk about it, they get missed because practice is practice. That was huge. It was just another help from me with our staff.
That's awesome. Those are some of the things that you don't even think about, right? Like I would never think about, dang, is my team actually aligned in this thing that I'm pushing forward in? And so that's such a cool thing to share. So thank you for sharing that. The communication you mentioned, what was like the best part about that? Was it just making sure we're on the same page? Was it any specific part of that made the most impact for you?
Just making the next appointment the week of the appointment. Okay, we have this one. Let's make our next one. Perfect. Because my calendar is very full. Instead of, oh, we'll call you or we'll contact you. I'll email you with some dates. No, I like the fact that we made the next appointment right there.
Okay. So just making sure we're intentionally scheduling time set time aside to make sure we're aligned, pushing forward towards the goal. Love it. That's awesome. What's been the result of, so the 70K, we talked a little about the tangible, like what's been the result in the practice and how it's flowed and how it's felt now as a result of dialing in the systems. And now I know you're taking these systems and running with them. It's such a cool thing where it's like, cool, you have the processes, you have the systems, you have what to do. Now it's just continuing to do that on your own. So can you walk me through maybe like maybe a little bit on how it's felt and then dive into the systems and how that flow is now going to be?
I'm not nervous. I don't get butterflies asking somebody for a referral. Literally, during this 23 years, I would still get sweaty. I would still get, gosh, how can I ask them? But I mean, it was making it about me. And it's not about me. It's about helping somebody else, helping them help somebody. Because people internally, they want to help people. They want to see their friends not suffer. And how do they approach it? And so we just help them guide that. And I don't have that nervousness anymore about it.
Yeah, that is so good. That pumps me up. That it's like, think about the number of people you're going to transform lives for and just like change perspectives about their own health and their lives just because you're past like thinking about who you are and more thinking about who they are. And it's such a cool thing. That's so amazing. Is there anything else you'd want to share about your experience working with us and just really anything at all and how things are now moving forward?
So really appreciate our direction, the change of direction. We had first the advertising, and that's where you guys shine, but that wasn't where I wanted to focus on. It was too overwhelming for me to process all these people with little space that I have. And so by just shifting gears, I really appreciated that. And so you worked with me on doing that. And it wasn't like, oh, this is out of our wheelhouse. We can't help you. No, you conformed, you modified. And then helping me embrace AI when it comes to my workshops. So I do workshops every other month on health and nutrition and chiropractic.
Yeah, let's go. That's so awesome. No, this pumps me up so much. What would you share with someone who's like watching this and is, hey, should I take the next step? What should I do? What would be something you share?
Definitely. Every situation, just like every patient, is going to be unique. Chiro Jump is going to help you navigate that. What are you looking to do? And they will help you accomplish your goals, help you make it easier. So instead of having butterflies in your stomach asking for a referral, they'll make it smooth. They'll work with you and customize it for you. That's what I can say.
There we go. Awesome. So if you're watching this and you're like, hey, what do I do? Just schedule a time. Hey, this isn't a fit. Best case, we point you in the right direction and we help you accomplish whatever goals you have set out for the next year. Just schedule a time and we'll go from there.